Welcome to our podcast, Disability Warriors, The Download, powered by Liner Legal, your disability warriors, fighting for dignity, justice, and the benefits that you deserve. Each episode, we bring you powerful stories, real legal insight, and everything you need to feel informed, supported, and never alone. Whether you are navigating the complex disability process yourself, supporting a loved one, or just want to understand the system a little better, you're in the right place. Make sure to hit follow now so you never miss an episode. And if you're ready to take the next step, head to our website at linerlegal.com to schedule your free case review.
Because your voice matters.
Your fight matters.
And we're with you every step of the way. Let's dive in. Welcome to a new switched up episode of the Disability Download Bonus Bytes. We're calling this the Truth or Dare edition. For the first time ever, we're just going to be firing some questions back and forth, see what kind of silliness we can get into. What do you think, Andrew November?
I'm a little worried about the dares. I think I can handle the truth.
I'm more interested in the dares than the truth, so I think we're looking at this in the inverse.
I'm not sure where this is going to go.
I got some good ones for you.
I just thought we were answering questions.
Well, let's get started and see how it goes. I'm going to start by asking you a question. Now, just so everybody is aware, these are questions that have come in to you and I through our various social media channels. We get probably dozens of questions a day. I know I do on my TikTok channel, at least, probably more. And so when you guys are asking questions, when you're commenting on our posts, we're hearing you, we're watching it, and that's what this is about. So feel free to check out our social media pages. It's a great opportunity for you to get your questions answered. Here we go. Andrew, what if your doctors are not advocating for you and they're not writing down what's actually going on in their treatment notes for you? What should you do in that situation if you're applying for disability?
So I think that's actually two questions. The first question is, the first question I want to answer is what if my doctors aren't writing down what I'm telling them? That's a big problem. Medical visits are super rushed. You'll often spend a lot of time speaking to a tech, waiting for your doctor. Your doctor comes in, looks at the computer for a minute, and doesn't seem like they're listening to you. So you have to be very descriptive. We talked about this on so many videos. Don't go into your visit saying, I'm fine, I'm okay. Go in there with concrete examples of how your medical condition's affecting you at home, work, even doing things like grocery shopping or driving. If you still don't feel like your doctor's writing it down, take advantage of technology. More often than not, you can communicate with your doctor electronically, often through MyChart. Well, you should know that MyChart messages end up in the record. So disability litigators like us, when we don't have great treatment notes, we can pull on these statements and be like, look, my client's been complaining to her doctor every month for 12 months that she can't stand up without using an assistive device. So yes, the treatment notes don't explain a prescription or explain them dispensing a cane, but you can clearly see she's needed an assistive device. So use the technology that's there for you. The second question, it was part of the first question, was the doctor not advocating for me. I think that's very different. When I think about doctors advocating, I think about them completing medical opinions. Medical opinions are probably the most important piece of evidence in your case. We can certainly help provide forms that will make it easy for your doctor, but getting your doctor to put their pen on the paper might be more difficult. You have to have an honest conversation with your doctor and say, look, I need this. Social Security's own doctors are writing medical opinions about me. I need a rebuttal medical opinion. If your doctor won't complete it, I hate to say this, but you might need to find a new doctor, especially if it's a long-term disability case, because those medical opinions may be needed multiple times a year. Social Security might only need it once, just to prove the case at the hearing level or before. But with long-term disability, they will look for updated medical opinions, and I have to tell my clients all the time, find a new doctor.
Right. I think those are some great tips, Andrew.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I have a question for you that I read.
Okay.
I think this is
You do?
I think it's a very easy question for you to answer, but an incredibly hard question for our clients to ask. And that is, how do I start? That's such a hard question for someone who hasn't been part of this, but I think really easy for you to answer.
Yeah. So I think there's several different pieces here. First of all, I think you got to understand Social Security's rules about work, because that trips up a lot of people. Before you do anything with Social Security, you do have to be earning under SGA, or earning less than $1,620 per month. That's the number in 2025. It does change every year. But even if you're thinking, if you're earning at or above that, and you're thinking you're going to need to apply, what you should start doing is keeping track of your doctors, your medications, any recent testing or imaging studies that have been done. Keep a document so that you've got that at your fingertips for when you're actually ready to apply. And of course, even before you stop working, if that's possible for you, or when you're getting ready to, make sure that you've had some recent treatment to create a picture of how you're functionally limited. Then, to kind of answer the question, okay, I've done what you've said. I'm not working and earning too much money anymore. I've got the information in my fingertips that I need. What is the best way to apply? Because I think that that's a question that we get quite often. I think it really depends on your situation. Now, Social Security does prefer when people file for disability benefits online. Very frankly, in most circumstances, I don't see any negative difference applying online versus going into a Social Security office. A lot of people will say, well, if I apply online, they won't see that I'm walking in with a cane. They won't, see that I can't, focus on their questions. Social Security's observations in the field office very rarely play any role in decisions.
I was just thinking that they seem very interested in people's outerwear.
Right.
I feel like that's the most common observation. They like
Right.
toys at Social Security.
Oftentimes, I see more harmful things appearing in there than I see
normal
helpful. Yeah. And I don't even really see, there used to be something that they would fill out that was called a field office observation sheet.
Yeah.
Remember that? I haven't seen that sheet.
Well, because most people are doing it electronically.
Even when I look to see how somebody applied, people who applied by going into the office, I haven't seen that sheet completed in a while, or it's not appearing in files. Maybe it's not making its way down to, the state agency where the claim is actually heard. All of this is to say, I think in almost all circumstances, it really does benefit somebody to just for accuracy, so you can have control over your own application, for timing and pacing. And just because it's what they prefer, it probably is best to do the application online. However, there are without question situations where that doesn't work. If you have a language barrier, if you aren't computer savvy, if that's going to be a big challenge for you, a big barrier, you still can go into a Social Security field office and do an application. You can apply for benefits over the phone with somebody at Social Security asking questions. But I do think that the path to benefits for most people starts by doing an online application. I think that this particular question also had a piece to it where they were like saying they're speaking to attorneys and the attorneys are telling them, to do their own application and call them if they're denied. I don't hear that very often anymore. I will tell you that, most offices, most disability law firms, we've got an entire department of people whose job it is to file applications for our clients. And I think what we're doing is the norm now. When you and I started, 15 years ago or around then for both of us, there were a lot of law firms that said, call us after you've been denied twice. They don't want to touch a case until it got to an ALJ hearing. I don't really hear that anymore. I think people, most lawyers and law firms are helping people right away. So I don't know if the law firms that you're speaking to are trying to nicely tell you that they don't want to help, or if that's just, they're stuck in an older way of doing business. But, I do think that if it's the former and not the latter, keep trying to find somebody that can help you if you do want help applying.
When people look at their paychecks, I think this is a really important question. Should they be looking at how much money they're getting each pay period? Like, how do they know what numbers matter to determine if they're earning too much?
So Social Security is going to look at your monthly earnings. Where I hear this a lot, where it comes up is when people say, yeah, but I got paid 3 times this month. Social Security is not looking at how much money went into your bank account in a month. They want to know what your monthly earnings were. So regardless of any nuances where people, because of how dates fall, got paid 3 times, the question is still, what did you actually earn in that month, which shouldn't deviate too much month to month. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Andrew,
Hey.
I got a question for you. This is from another one of our followers, and they want to know, how much money can you save if you're applying for disability benefits?
Okay, well, that is a great question, but there's some nuance. So the first question that this person needs to ask themselves is, am I getting SSD or SSI? We've talked about this many times. You can find so many of our videos explaining the difference between SSD and SSI, and that is crucial to being able to answer this question. So SSDI, which stands for Social Security Disability Insurance, are those benefits for people who have paid into the system. They paid Social Security taxes for many years, and when they ultimately claim disability, they're getting money from those contributions. Under that program, there is no asset limit. You can have as much money in your bank account as you want. However, they would look at other things like earnings from work. So that's a very big difference, is how did that money come to you? So that's number one. Know what type of benefit you're getting, because if you're getting SSI, which stands for Supplemental Security Income, the rules are tremendously different.
Right.
Now, SSI is for those people who have never worked, haven't worked recently, or maybe didn't make enough to pay those required tax contributions to get SSD. So because of that, it's what we call a means-tested program. That means they look at the things you have to determine if you are financially at risk without being able to get SSI. There's very strict income restrictions. So for a single person, they can't have more than $2,000 in their bank account. If you're married, unfortunately, it only goes up to $3,000. So in those situations, yes, your savings could destroy your case.
Yeah.
So if you have a question, first, just find out if you're getting SSI or SSD, because it's really not that hard to do the analysis from there.
Yeah. That's a great answer, Andrew.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions for me?
There you go. This is a question I get all the time. It was on our list, but people ask me this all the time. So we talked about medical opinions just a moment ago from our clients' doctors. Well, Social Security uses their own doctors to examine our clients from time to time. And what do they write up? A medical opinion.
What?
Can our clients see those?
So this is a pretty easy question to answer. Yes, you can. You do have to fill out a specific release that allows the doctor who evaluates you for Social Security, that consultative examiner, to release the record of your exam to you. Your attorney could probably help you with that if you want that. But that's actually something that I have found can be helpful in some circumstances. Now, there's occasions where, I've seen a client, more has to do with their mental status exams than a physical status exam. They might hear about a diagnosis thrown out that they didn't know that they had. And it could be useful to request that record and take it to your doctor. Mm-hmm. So beyond just filing it away in your own filing cabinet, I think there could be a more meaningful purpose for getting that report is to help with your treatment, which really isn't the purpose of those consultative exams. But, in some circumstances, I think that the results of that could be beneficial to your doctor.
Yeah, I mean, in more times than not, I'm going to caution my clients about getting them. I don't think it's healthy to review those documents. They're not flattering documents to read. I don't like a lot of our clients even reading their fully favorable decisions, even if it's a win, because, there's just so much discussion about you and the problems you're dealing with. So unless it's a situation where you think you have an advocate who will respond to that examination, I don't think it should. I don't think it'll help you to request it. I think it's very few situations where I would urge someone to follow that process.
Yeah, we've got a similar philosophy there, Andrew.
Yeah, it's just too devastating for people to deal with.
Well, even though this turned into a game of just truth or truth,
Yeah, thank goodness.
I still had a good time hanging out with you. I hope that this was beneficial to all of our listeners. Make sure to follow us on our social media channels where we're answering these questions and more every single day. And maybe next time we'll actually add some dares in, brother.
Yeah, please keep the questions coming.
Thank you for tuning in to Disability Download. Thanks for tuning in to Disability Warriors, the Download. If today's episode inspired you, educated you, or gave you hope, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who needs it. Need help with your disability claim? Visit linerlegal.com today to schedule your free consultation. Stay connected with us on social media for more stories, insights, and victories from the disability community. Until next time, stay strong, stay empowered, and remember, you are not in this alone.
Because your voice matters.
Your fight matters.
And we're with you every step of the way.